Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach. Bezat Hashem, the shir is going to be L'Fuat Shlema, Mazal Bat Liza. L'Havda B'Chaim L'Chaim. Also L'Ilun Yishmad, Rachel Bat Rivka. Any other names to add? Okay. So we'll tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I was preparing for the Parsha, and I saw a very interesting observation that Rabbi Joey Haber brought down. He said he was once in a shul, and a Baal Tzedakah from Eretz Yisrael came in, and he goes over to the guy. The guy gives him $1. Takes the $1, he walks forward. Another guy gives him $2, he continues walking. One guy gives him $26. He tells this guy, come on, don't give me 26, give me 52. And the guy gave him 52. He says, I'm watching this guy. He goes to another guy. The guy gives him 36. He says, come on, what's 36? Give me more. And he gives him another bigger number. The guy gives it to him. He goes around to another guy, gives him $1. He doesn't say anything. So Rabbi Joey Haber walks over to this Baal Tzedakah and says, I have to understand, why you do this? Guy gives you $1. You don't tell him anything. The guy gives you 26, 36, 52. You're asking him for more? So what was the Baal Tzedakah's answer? He said, if he's already giving 26, 32, 56, that means he has what to give more. This guy, I'm going to ask more. The guy gives $1, that's all he has. Interesting, we were here on Sunday, and Sunday morning, we were praying Shachrit. I believe it was this week. And this guy walks in, and he's collecting tzedakah. So he walks in, he's going around. I give him $20. Right? Give him $20 tzedakah. Okay, he comes back around. And now he starts telling me, give me more. In the back of my mind, I say, hold on, what to do here? I can tell him, right? I already gave tzedakah and I'm bought it for more. Or do I take what I learned and I said, L'maisa, if he's coming back to ask me for more, it must mean that he thinks I have more. And it's not him thinking that. It's Kodesh Baruch Hu giving him that idea. And so maybe I should give him a little more. And Baruch Hashem, I was able to give him a little more. Rav Shlomo Shadron, the Tzaddik L'Bracha, he brought an interesting story about a Gevir, a rich man. And they came to him for tzedakah, achnasat kala. They were going to get a bride married. Big mitzvah. They walked over to this Gevir, and the Gevir gave 300 rubles. It's a huge amount. A week before the wedding,
6 months salary for a doctor.
6 months salary for a salary, 300 rubles.
That used to make 60 rubles a month.
So you can imagine, 300 rubles. It's a lot of money. The week before the wedding, they come back to this Gvir, and they ask him, we need 10 more rubles. we're short 10 rubles. What does this Gvir do? What does this rich man do? At first, he's, he already gave a huge amount of money. And then all of a sudden he goes, he grabs the 10 rubles and he gives it to them. His family asks him, what happened? You were not giving it, and you were, stalling and the like. And then all of a sudden you gave the money? Erev Tov. So he says, when they came for me to the 10 additional rubles, I was thinking how much I can do tzedakah with these 10 rubles. I can buy people's shoes. I can buy 10 people's shoes. There's a lot that I can do with these 10 rubles. And I already gave them 300 rubles. Why should I only give tzedakah to them? He said, when this thought came into my mind, I realized what? This was not a rational thought, but rather it was the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara didn't want me to give tzedakah. That's why I came up with excuses. There was a rabbi. Somebody once came over to him. It's a gadol. They came over the gadol and they said to him, "I'm writing a sefer, and I want Haskama." And the gadol said, okay, I'll take a look at the sefer, and then well, I'll let you know. And he had the sefer by him.
Sefer Torah.
A sefer, it's a sefer. A sefer about some Indian, some Torah subject. And this rabbi, this gadol, said to himself, I'm not sure if I want to write this Hashkafa, but I have a better question. Do I not want to write this Hashkafa because the sefer is not such a great a sefer? Or I just don't want to, go back out and call him and I'm lazy and all these stuff. And that's why I don't want to get to it. Is it because I'm lazy, or is it because the sefer really doesn't deserve an Hashkafa? So, what did he do?
Make an Hashkafa on Hashkafa.
No, he wrote the Hashkafa. He wrote the approval. He wrote it all. And once he had it, and now he said, okay, now let me go to this guy's hotel. And now he's there at his hotel where this guy was staying at. And now his question was, do I really give it to him or not? He took away the laziness factor of the equation. There was once an Indian.
Today, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Today people are giving Hashkafa
On the Hashkafa.
on Hashkafa.
I hear you.
Rabbi so-and-so, which I know this rabbi very well, if he gave you an Hashkafa, I guarantee he knows what he's doing.
It's what's called a rubber stamp. You know what a rubber stamp is? One Hashkafa company gives the approval, and then 10 other ones give more stamps on it.
Yeah.
Right? It's a rubber stamp.
Actually, it's not an Hashkafa. No.
We're not talking about that.
Okay.
Rav David Cohen Shlita, he said once there was a serious question that the Gedolim had at his time, and they all went up to the Catskill Mountains, and they said they were there, they planned to be there for a few days, until they came up with the answer, the solution that they were going to do, and until then no one left. They took the achrayut to get the job done. Okay, I'll tell you a bunch of stories, thinking how they're all related. Sehina Wotai, listen to this. There's a Gemara in Erevin. The Gemara there says, a lashon, I think many of us are familiar with it, that says as follows. Kedera deve shutefei lo hamima velo kirira. What does that mean? A pot that there are shutfim, there are partners in cooking it, okay? It won't be hot and it won't be cold. How do you understand this?
I don't.
So the Maharsha says as follows. What happens when you have two cooks? Or what happens when you ever have two people in charge? Most times, besides the machloket, 9 out of 10 times, each one thinks the other one is going to take care of it. Let the other guy heat up the food. Why I have to do it? I'll do the serving. The other guy says, I'll do this part. Meanwhile, everybody is relying on the other, and nothing gets done.
Are you talking about kashrut-wise or?
We're talking about in life-wise. Whenever two people are in charge of one item, the same exact thing, it never gets done.
Like you have, let's say, 2 wives, 1 husband. Which one gonna make tea?
Don't start.
Hanaruth or somebody else?
No one's going to do it. It's not going to get done. Because two people, he'll take care of it, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it, he'll take care of it. Everyone's taking care of it, but no one's taking care of it. Because there's always someone else to point it to. That's what the Maharasha says. A lot of accomplishments, a lot of good things come to people's mind. A lot of good things come to people's minds. And they can do it. Be'emet, they can do it. But what do they say? Someone else will take care of it. I'm not that Adam Chashev, I'm not that important person, I'm not the one to do it, it's not me, but someone should do it. And they're relying on someone else. They're soymech on someone else to do it. This is a problem. Because everyone wants everyone else to be the Nachshon. You be the Nachshon, you be the Nachshon. But me, I'm just going to be what we call in English the backseat driver. I'm going to tell you what to do, I'm going to tell you what to do, I'll tell you what to do. And nothing gets done because no one's doing it. Everybody has good ideas. You should know Chazal tell us that in this world, there are still empty spaces for us to come in and do something. There are certain subjects in Torah that have not yet been fully explained or nicely explained, so to speak, that is waiting for someone, but you perhaps, to come and make that explanation, to come and make that safer. A person should never think that I can't add to it. There's something in Klal Yisrael, whether it be a gemach, whether it be a service, whether it be something that is there for a person to do. And he has a good idea, but he's soymech on everyone else to do it, and therefore, it never gets done. There was a man, he came over to his Rebbe, and he said, there was a chassid, and he said, I want to have Gilui Eliyahu Hanavi. I want to be able to see Eliyahu Hanavi. You know, it's a certain madrega, a certain level to be on, where a person could be in front of Eliyahu Hanavi. So the Rebbe told him, it's a famous story, the Rebbe told him, you go to this and this city, and you ask to go where the Almanah Rivka is, and there you're going to see Eliyahu Hanavi. He tells his wife, they prepare the chamadam, the suitcase, they take food, they take stuff with them, they go to that place, they walk around, they look for this Almanah Rivka, they're invited into the house, she says...
What? They look at what?
They're looking for the Almanah Rivka.
Almanah.
They find her house, they knock on the door, they say, we want to stay by you. She says, I have nothing in my house. They say, don't worry, we got you covered. We came with all our stuff. They gave him the food, the this, the that. They were there for the Shabbat. He's looking around. Eliyahu Hanavi, he's looking out the window. He's looking in the house. He's looking here. He's looking around. The man does not see Eliyahu Hanavi. He comes back to the Rebbe. And he tells the Rebbe, there's no Eliyahu Hanavi. I didn't see him. What are you telling me stories? So the Rebbe said to him, if you didn't see it, that means you have to go back. He says, what do you mean go back? I just came from there. He says, okay, if you want to see Eliyahu Hanavi, you'll go back. He was procrastinating. He didn't go back right away. It was coming Pesach, and he wanted, to see Eliyahu Hanavi, Pesach, and Geulah. So he says to his wife, let's try one more time. We're going to head back. Him and his wife, they prepare their suitcases. They know already how many kids are there. They take all the lollies, all the gifts, all the presents, all the food. They know the almanah has nothing, the widow has nothing. They take everything they need for the holiday. And they go back there. As they get to the city and they come to the door, and they hear the kids inside crying.
What?
They hear the kids inside the house. They tomim, they hear them crying. Crying. And bochim, they're crying. They listen to the door, and the kids are saying, Mommy, Pesach's going to be tonight. We don't have no new clothes, no new toys, no new food, nothing. We have nothing for the Chag. How are we going to have it? And the mother says to the kids, you remember about a few months ago, Eliyahu Hanavi came to our house, and he brought food, and he brought this, and he brought all the toys, and he brought all the gifts. You remember Eliyahu Hanavi? I promise you, Eliyahu Hanavi is coming as well. And on cue, this couple knocks on the door. They come in, and Gilui Eliyahu there was. But who was the Eliyahu Hanavi? He himself was the Eliyahu Hanavi. Don't be soymech on something else. Don't look for someone else. You be it. You be the Geula in someone else's life. You do what needs to happen. Look at the story over here he brings. It's Eitz HaChaim. He brings the story. Listen to this amazing story. During President Truman's term, so President Truman was the president around right before World War II. Well, I think so, right? Is it around that time? Towards the end of World War II. Okay, he's the one who shot the missiles? Dropped the bombs, right? Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Okay, all right, so Truman.
The atomic.
Yeah. So President Truman, during the time of this World War II, he would go on the radio to address the nation almost every Friday. Weekly, on a Friday, he would get on the radio and he would have an address to speak to the nation. There was a woman, a Jewish woman, a frum, observant, dati woman. Her name was Mrs. Neti Necha Beryl. That was her name. And she saw that many Jews also wanted to listen. And it was Friday night on Shabbat. And some people were being mechalel Shabbat to listen to this address. So they have documentation to prove this. She writes a letter to President Truman.
That was at the time of the war.
At this time.
I mean, at the war.
Yeah. She writes a letter to President Truman. And she tells President Truman that we really appreciate everything you're doing, and especially this address that you're speaking to the people, to the nation on Friday night. But you should know there's a great group of people that also want to hear it. And because it's on Friday night when it's their Shabbat, it's difficult for them to listen to it. If you can perhaps change it to a different night. No? You're the president. You're going to listen to one letter?
No.
No. You listen to one letter?
She can listen to it even if she's religious. I mean, if this is a war...
Listen to this. The documentation proves that the following week after receiving this letter, President Truman told the nation, from now on, instead of Friday night, the address will be on Tuesday night. And for the remainder of the war, he would give his speeches on Tuesday night rather than Friday night. If I and you would have thought about it, we never would have written the letter. It's who am I to do something? But this is the idea. And the idea is, when there's one cook in the kitchen, and he knows what he's doing, that person can make all the difference.
Can make?
Make all the difference. They can make all the difference. Listen to this, Rabotai. The Vilna Gaon was 7 years old. And the Shagas Aryeh asked the following question to the Vilna Gaon. You hear, Rabotai? This is the question from the great Shagas Aryeh. He's asking the Vilna Gaon this question. Listen. It says in Gemara. Can I get a Psachim? Psachim. You have Psachim? Yeah, I can take that one. If you have it in, you have Psachim? Okay. Anun Gimel Amud Bet in Psachim. The Gemara asks a question. It's actually Todos, and he's asking a question about Hananiah, Mishael, and
Hananiah.
Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. What did they do? Right? What happened? There was Nebuchadnezzar, and he made a statue. Whether the statue was Avodah Zarah or not is a debate Rishonim. And Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah had now a dilemma. The Nebuchadnezzar said they have to bow down to this statue, this idol. And they didn't know what to do. So what did they do? They made a Kalveh Homer. Ma ro Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah shemasru atzman al kedushat Hashem. Why did they give up their life al kedushat Hashem? That's why it's easier to learn that it was a statue. Because if it was an actual Avodah Zarah, then you have to give up your life. You're not allowed to serve Avodah Zarah. Yeah, it's Har Val Yavar, right? So there are ways to understand this the other way also. But anyway, the questioning when I says, what did they see to learn to give up their lives to Kedushat Hashem? Where did they learn this from? So says the Gemara, they learned it from for the Nasukav Chomer Ba'atzam Mitzvardaim. They learned it from the Tzefardayim, the Tzefardayas. This week's Parasha, the frogs, Makas Tzefardaya. What happened with the Tzefardaya? Ma Tzefardayim. She'ein mitzuvin al kedushat Hashem. There is no mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem by frogs, right? V'niktashti b'toich b'nei Yisrael, says the pasuk. You should sanctify me amongst the Jewish people. There's a mitzvah for Jews to do Kiddushat Hashem. That's why we say Nagdishach v'naritzach, right? That's part of doing Kiddushat Hashem, making Kiddush Hashem. There is no mitzvah by the frogs. And what did the frogs do? And what does it say in pasuk? Uvo And when are these bowls next, these cooking bowls next to the ovens? When the ovens are on. And they went into the fire, says Chanina Mishav Azariah, the frogs who don't have a commandment to make Kiddush Hashem went into the fire. So we who have a commandment to make a Kiddush Hashem should also go into the fire. And that's why Chanina Mishav Azariah allowed themselves to be thrown into the Kivshan Aish. Fine. That's what the Gemara says. So ask the Shai Gesarya, 1 second. What do you mean the frogs were not mitzvah? The frogs don't have a commandment for Kiddush Hashem. What was part of the Makat Tzefardeh? The Tzefardehim, the frogs, should go everywhere, including going into the houses, going into the ovens. They were mitzvah. They were commanded. So how can you say the Kal V'chomer, the frogs aren't commanded Kiddush Hashem? We are, so we're going to jump in because they jumped in. But the frogs were commanded. They were commanded to go all over the house, including inside the oven. That was the Shai Gesarya's question. And listen to the answer. The Vilna Gaon, at 7 years old, says to the Shai Gesarya. He says, Be'emet, you're right. The frogs were mitzvah to jump into the tanur, into the ovens. But you know what they weren't mitzvah? No frog was told, you be the one to jump into the oven. There was a b'derech klal, a tzivui for the frogs to go all over the house, including the ovens. But Hashem never told this frog, yo, Johnny Frog, Tony Frog, Peter Frog, you jump into the... Didn't say. But guess what? They went without being mitzvah. They weren't the ones told to go into the oven. They were told, there are some of you have to go in. But they chose to go.
But in reality, it's one frog.
There was one big frog, and many frogs came out.
It's like one frog jump.
I mean,
That's only frog.
no, not one frog jumped. You have millions of frogs, gazillions of frogs. From one frog, all of them came out. Now, so that's what the Gaon answered. Then the Gaon answered, and Rav Shai Gesarya kissed him on his forehead. What a beautiful answer. Everyone has a tafkid in this world. Everyone has a job and a mission that they have to complete. Which mission are you doing?
Well, we don't know.
The Chavetz Chaim gave him mashal. He said there was once a rich man, and he was traveling on a fancy luxury cruise ship. And everything was so beautiful, shining. The food was delicious, so many varieties, massages, spas, whatever you name, on the ship. And this rich man goes over to the captain. He says, I love this boat. It's so great. But show me how this ship works. I want to see what makes it move. So the captain said, okay, come with me. He takes him below deck, right? And they come there, and he sees all the workers, the engineers, the machinery, the sailors, all down. They're all muddied up, oiled up. They're all sweating. And the rich man says, this is what makes the world move? This is what makes the boat move? It's disgusting here. You know what? Everybody, change your clothing. Nobody touch the engines. Everybody stop. Just enjoy. Everyone be nice. Don't do the hard work. What happens when you don't do the hard work?
Not moving.
The boat won't move.
It doesn't park.
Says the Hafetz Chaim. It's the same thing in this world. There are many jobs to do, and each one has a tafkid to do. The question is, what job you want? You want the luxury job that doesn't make the world move? Or are you going to be the Ben Torah, who's learning Torah, who's doing mitzvot u'ma'asim tovim, and that makes the world move? And that's not the easy job. It's not easy. It's a lot easier to do nothing. It's a lot easier just to enjoy the fruits of this world without having to do any hard work. I want to tell you, there's a midrash Tehillim, Midrash Socher Tov, 28. The midrash says as follows: Tehillim, Midrash Tehillim, Midrash Socher Tov, Socher Tov, Midrash Tehillim, Socher Tov, 28. Listen what it says over here about this incident about the frogs. So it says here, they jumped into it. What was the reward? What would happen to them afterwards? All the frogs, when the plague ended, they all died. ואותם שירדו לתנור לא מתו, שמסרו עצמם לשרפה כדי לקיים גזרות של הקדוש ברוך הוא. You hear this? Every other frog died in Makat Tzefardea after the Makkah was over. And says Chazal, the Midrash Socher Tov, Midrash Tehillim 28, there were some frogs that survived. Which ones? The ones who jumped into the ovens. Those are the ones that survived.
They won't die in the oven?
They didn't die! They were Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah. They survived. They had they had fire retardant skins. Says, where? The guy who does the hard tafkid, the guy who does the hard mission of learning Torah, doing mitzvot, maasim tovim, minyanim, chesed, he goes above and beyond. This guy who does the hard job, it's the dirty job, it's not the nice one looking. That's the guy who survives. That's the guy who truly lives. The yesod for life is as follows. When a nisayon comes in our direction, how do we react? What do we do? What was the greatness of these frogs? Number one, they didn't shift it to someone else. You do it, you do it, you do it. They themselves chose to go in there, and they survived because of that. Number two, it is the instinct of any living being not to let themselves die. That's the natural state of life, right? Is to try to survive. That's teva. And here the frogs go against their teva. Why? Because what are we saying in Pirkei Avot? Make your ratzon like HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ratzon. And then Hashem will make your ratzon his ratzon. That's how you have to do. That's how you have to look at the question. When I'm at a nisayon, when I'm at a hard time, what should I do now? Should I do the chesed? Should I not do it? Should I just sit back? Should I not? The question you have to ask in yourself, what is Ratzon Hashem? What does Hashem want me to do at this time? Someone was mevaza you. Someone made fun of you. Someone embarrassed you. What is Ratzon Hashem at this time? Teva, nature of a person. Who are you? Embarrassing me? I'll embarrass you now. I'll tell you what. What's Ratzon Hashem? What's Ratzon Hashem? Kalecham, head down. Don't answer back. Be mivater. How much berachot comes to that person? How much greatness comes to that person? Not to answer back. This, Rabotai, is a very important lesson from the frogs. From the frogs. How much Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah learn from the frogs what to do. What about us? Are we going to learn from the frogs to do? Let's learn from the frogs, Rabotai. That's lesson number one. Okay. Now that we went through the frogs, we have in this week's Parsha, okay, there's more lessons to learn, but you can't learn all the lessons. Okay, I will tell you. It's very soon going to be Pesach. And on Pesach, we drink 4 kosot. What is the source?
78 days.
78 days to Pesach. I know that Daniel put 49 days or 48 days to Purim. So 78, I don't know, you guys have a tracker. Very good. 78 days till Pesach.
Pesach.
Oh, from now?
Yeah.
And how do you know?
He has a tracker. He's tracking it. It's like it's Tfilat Omer. He's counting. He's excited.
So you're probably not going to be here.
I will tell you. Listen to this. Where is the source to drink 4 cups of wine? So he says, right? So there's 4 expressions, all comes to this Parsha in Perek Vav. And that's what you say. Where in Chazal do we have that is the source? Well, it's not found in Shas Bavli.
What do you mean, what is in Chazal?
Where in Chazal, where is it sourced by the Chachamim, Tanaim, Amoraim?
Yeah.
that you drink 4 cups based on these 4 words. The 4 expressions of Geula. That maybe Kosheliyahu, maybe not. Okay, fine, that's a different talk. But where is it? It's not found in Shas Bavli. It's found in 2 places in Chazal. It's found Midrash Rabbah, Bereshit, Midrash Rabbah, 88.5. There it's brought down as a statement that it's from these 4 psukim, and there are other pshatim as well. And the other place it's found, it's in the Gemara Yerushalmi. Okay, Ari Psachim Yerushalmi, in Halacha 1, in the 10th parak, there is a question. Minayin la'arba kosot. In the Shas Bavli, that question does not come up. It's taken as a given that there's 4 kosot. No question where does it come from. But the Shas Yerushalmi asks, Minayin la'arba kosot. So Rabbi Yochanan b'shem Rabbi Benaya says, Keneged arba geulot. L'chein emor v'nei Yisrael, ani Hashem ve'otzeti etchem, ve'yitzalti etchem, ve'lekachti etchem, ve'galti etchem, and he brings down ve'otzeti, ve'yitzalti, ve'galti, ve'lekachti. And this is the source. There are other sources that are brought down in Chazal, but this is the source that everyone's famous with. There are 4 expressions of Geula. And it stands for this: I shall take them out, I shall rescue, I shall redeem, and I shall take. Okay, now that we talk a little bit about the Arba Kosot from this week's Parsha, let's talk a little bit about the dinim, the halachot, that comes when it comes to these Arba Kosot. Number 1, to drink straight up wine, like a 12%, 13% alcohol, that's most wines, right? 12.5% or something like that, most wines. To drink 4 kosot.
I can't drink.
You can't do it, I can't do it.
You can?
I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't do it. I think most people can't really do it.
Right.
Behemet, you guys are good, or?
I can.
So you have to, so you work it out. So you do a 3.1 ounce cup, and you have to drink a little more than half, so it's 1.6 ounces, and you work it out. It's true. But if I take my Shabbos Becher, my regular kos for Shabbat, which is 7-8 ounces, and you try to drink 12% alcohol, it's really almost impossible. Okay, so here's another question. So here, I will tell you. A person who gets harmed from drinking has difficulty drinking, meaning it hurts him if he drinks alcohol. L'mashal, at one period in time, whenever I drank alcohol, for some reason I had heartburn afterwards.
You have what?
Heartburn.
Yeah.
Where it burns up, and it's really painful. And my patur from Arba Kosot?
From wine?
From wine.
Not arak?
No, it was Stavka wine. It's for a while like that. Baruch Hashem, I don't drink very high alcohol stuff anymore, and I don't have that issue. But here's the question. A guy who's going to get harmed, does he have to still drink Arba Kosot? Or not? Are they exempt from this mitzvah? At what point are you exempt from Arba Kosot? So, now we know there are only really 3 big aveot that you have to be giving up your life for. Right? Yarog al Yavor, Shechut Damim, Gilu Arayot, Avodah Zarah. These 3 you have to give up your life for. We also know when it comes to mitzvot aseh, a positive mitzvah, you have to spend at a maximum how much for the mitzvah? 20%. A fifth. 1/5. 20%. You don't have to spend more than that.
Now how can you figure it out?
You have to look at your assets, how much you have, and spend up to
How can you
20%.
figure out 20%?
You call an accountant, he'll figure it out for you. Okay. All right. Listen to this, Rabotai. There's a Gemara, Ketuvot. You learned about Chanina, Mishael, Azariah? You learned about them just now?
Yeah.
Well, you're allowed to learn about them a little bit more now. Listen to what Rav says in the Gemara about Chanina, Mishael, Azariah. Listen to what he says here. This is 33b1. Okay. The Amarav Ilmale Nagdua Lahanania Mishael Azariah Palchu Litzalma.
I didn't understand. Ilmale.
Ilmale Nag du'ah.
Imagine a dua.
They gave them malkut.
Malkut?
Yeah. What would happen? Palhu letalma.
Oh, that's in Aramaic.
Says Rav that if Haniyah Mishal Bazariah were not threatened with death, if they were threatened with torture, they would have bowed down to the Avodah Zarah. That's what Rav says. Yes, which means is, what's worse? Torture or death?
I guess death.
Torture.
No, torture you can't.
Why?
Suffer.
Death. They're ready to give up their life.
Right.
But to go through torture, they're not ready for it. They're ready to bow down.
You're gonna die anyway. And a torture.
So it turns out that perhaps pain is worse than death. Now, if I know I'm going to drink wine, it's pekuach nefesh, I definitely don't have to drink the wine. But if I have pain, and pain is worse than death, maybe I don't have to drink the wine either.
So what are you gonna say about the loyada? Ad the loyada.
Adil yada,
Also,
it doesn't necessarily mean you have to drink. The Rosh Hashiva says
you
that
don't have to.
you don't have to drink.
Ad the loyada, you
Adil
don't have
yada,
to.
you go to sleep, you don't know what's
But
going on.
that's a mitzvah. One of them.
Adil yada means you. Just
Should not recognize anything.
no, you have to be lo yada. That's the goal. The whole goal is not the drink that I don't understand what's going on. You have to be the lo yada, which means is on Purim I'm supposed to realize that I have no ability to do anything. It's not my knowledge. It's all Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I need lo yada. I don't know. That's Purim. I don't know. Because if I knew, I would have done what everyone else did. I would have bowed down to Haman. I would have done this. I would have done what everyone else did. But if I don't know, then I say I'm Soymech on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the Indian of Adul Yada. But not getting into that for the moment. The idea that I'm getting into is perhaps pain is worse, and if a person has pain from drinking wine, he'd be potter. Well, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. No, it's not that simple. Rav Moshe Feinstein clears this shayla. Listen to this, I will tell you. In his Igros Moshe, he's asked the question as follows. There's a person in a hospital, a mental hospital. Person is sick in the head. Okay, he has a mental issue. Come on, sled. They need to get fixed. So they go to the hospital. It's before Rosh Hashanah, and the doctors tell the family, you can take him out, so he can hear Tiket the shofar. You take him out of the hospital. But there is a chance that he's going to get worse, and he's going to have to come back to the hospital if he leaves early. If you keep him in the hospital another week or two, it's a chance he'll be able to stay a lot longer out. Does he have to leave to hear Tiket shofar or not?
First of all, if it's a psychiatric problem.
So said Rav Moshe, he says, how much you have to spend to do mitzvah taseh? 20%. So if this guy, he's so sick, right, then he would have to spend more money to get himself fixed, more than 20%, then he's potter from mitzvah Tiket shofar. If he's so sick that he'll have to spend more money to get better, then he's potter from Tiket shofar. So he wanted to compare the spending to the sickness and save a potter or not. Anyway, Abutai, the Maramshik was also asked a question. Someone came to the Maramshik and said, my doctor told me that I cannot eat matzah or maror. And if I eat it, it would be dangerous for me. So his question was to the Maramshik, I'm going to eat it anyway. Can I say the beracha on the matzah and the maror? Right? I'm potter because my doctor says I'm sick. But it's like a woman who's potter from a mitzvah, and she does the mitzvah. Ashkenazim, they make a beracha. So he says, maybe I should also be able to make a beracha. I'm potter from eating it, but I'm eating it. Maybe I can make the beracha. The Ramshik told him it doesn't work that way. He said, since you're sick, if you eat it, you're going to be sick, then that eating is not considered an eating. It's not achila. It's poison. It's not achila. And if it's not achila, then you can't make a bracha on it. So said the Maram Shik, when it comes to drinking the wine, it's the same thing. If you're going to get sick immediately, you drink the wine right away, you're not feeling well, like really sick, right? The price can bring it down. It's like you have to get into bed. Or you're really sick, like it's really like extreme sick. Then you are potter from drinking the wine.
What's the difference if you get sick in an hour from now?
Because then, so says the Maram Shik, that then it's not, so the achila is good. The shtiyah is good, because when you would drink it, you were normal. It's happening later, so it's not, it is based on that, but it's not the actual shtiyah, not actual achila. He makes a difference in the time. That's why he says it has to happen.
That you're going to be sick.
Right.
Same thing.
Okay, now, another contrast. We said for mitzvah to say you have to spend 20%. But the Gemara, the Mishnah, Psachim tells us, a person who doesn't have arba kosot, what does he have to do to get money to do it? He has to sell the shirt on his back. He has to sell the shirt on his back to get money to have arba kosot.
I don't understand. What do you mean to sell the shirt on your back?
That means if you only had one shirt, you have to sell that in order to get money to buy arba kosot.
And be naked? What's the idea?
That's the idea, that there is no limit. It's not like other mitzvot, 20%. But on the other side, drinking the wine, the Gemara tells us you have to drink it. Why? Cherut, freedom. You ever saw someone who's free? I mean, you see people, but real free people. Are they poisoning themselves and making themselves not feel well? That's why I said most. Most normal free people are not poisoning themselves. So if it's going to be harmful, so maybe not.
The Halacha says that anavim that are bosa, you make bracha on them.
Right.
So it's a contradiction.
How?
You're saying you don't make a bracha if it's going to hurt you, and anavim are hurting you. That one says that it hurts you. So
It hurts you to that
that one
extent.
says you're allowed to make a bracha on it.
It hurts you to the extent that what?
It's mazik. I don't have the answers, but it's mazik.
Okay, so we're going to see in a second. Now, there's another Gemara that tells us Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi never really drank wine, except for Kiddush and Havdalah and Arba Kosot. And when he drank Arba Kosot, what happened to him? He would have a headache, right, from Pesach until Shavuot. 7 weeks, headache. So you see, Yehuda HaNasi drank the Arba Kosot, even though it's going to give him a 7-week headache. Okay. What's the halacha? What's the halacha, Rabotai? Halacha is as follows. Shulchan Aruch says that one who is harmed by wine, he's mazik by wine, he gets damaged by wine, or a person who doesn't enjoy it at all, still has to force himself to drink the arba kosot in brachot v'hakol.
Other question is, I'm a sheik.
What?
How did the Maram Sheik say no?
The Mishnah Berurah says, explains Shulchan Aruch, that's only if he's mazik slightly. But if he's going to become bedridden, he's going to become on the bed, he cannot move, then that mazik we're not talking about. That's why I said, what's the extent of the damage? So if it's an extent that I just, I'm somewhat harmed, that's fine. And he has to drink, and he has to say bracha and everything. But if it's going to become that he becomes bedridden, or extremely sick, like it's extreme issues, then he'd be potter from drinking the wine. Now, today, Baruch Hashem,
You just said that the Ben Abadosh did do it.
but so he had a headache. What's the extent of a headache? So there are those who say, when I'm saying that it was just a small mazik, some say, what do you mean, 7 weeks? So some say, really, he was potter, but he was machmer on himself and he did it. But you can't learn from that. Anyway, halacha l'maaseh. If a person has trouble drinking the wine, which most people do, it's okay, you could be moided to it. You don't have to drink so much wine and go crazy. Also, it was 1 year I decided I was going to drink the regular wine. I was going to do it. After the first cup, I was already at Purim. I was no longer on Pesach. I was already Purim. Okay? Because he got drunk after the first cup. I was laughing at everything. There was no seder anymore. It was Purim. Now, so a person has to be smart. So someone mentioned earlier about using a smaller cup. Also, is to use wine with a lower alcohol content. Okay? According to Rav Moshe, on Pesach, according to Rav Moshe Feinstein, on Pesach, your drink has to have alcohol. It has to be alcoholic.
That doesn't mean how much.
Right.
There's no, right.
Not how much. So you take the Rashi Kal wine, 3.5%, and you take yourself a 3.5, 3.2 ounce cup, and you drink rov of that kos 4 times, you're talking about drinking 6 ounces of 3.5 alcohol, you'll be just fine. Nothing will be wrong with you. Now, even if you can't tolerate that, even though Moshe said you shouldn't really use grape juice, he was wanting you to drink wine, but Chamavadia showed that according to Rishonim, like Rabbeinu Nisim, drinking grape juice is fine. No problem at all. In fact, they bring down that Chamavadia drank himself grape juice on the Seder night. And when people said, what do you mean? She thought that the wine is adif, it's better. He said, if I drink wine on Seder night, then after the Seder I won't be able to learn. I want to learn Torah. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. He drank the grape juice. And that's the way he paskins. So grape juice is fine. Now, a few more dinim before we go into our last topic. Number 1, what's the color of the wine that it should be?
Red.
So the Ramban, Nachmanides tells us it has to be red. And Shulchan Aruch brings down, that's the better way of doing it, is drinking red wine.
Also for Shabbat.
And for Shabbat as well. Always want to use red wine. But the Ashkenazim, they say that if the white wine is better wine, then you can use the white wine. We say even if the white wine is better, it's better to use the red wine. The person has red or pink, that's not mechalik, you don't have to be redder. One of the ideas with the red wine is, in fact, that it's a pasuk in Mishlei, when describing wine, it says it's very red. So when the Tanakh describes wine, it describes it as red. That's what a person wants to have red wine. Red wine also resembles other things. And the red wine resembles the makkah of dam. It's blood, red. It also resembles the dam of Brit Milah and the dam of Korban Pesach. The Taz says it also represents the dam, the blood of the babies that Paro used to kill to take a bath in, and the blood of the Jews in general in Mitzrayim that were being killed. So there's a lot of significance in the red wine. La halacha, let's say a Sephardi guy has a nice bottle of white wine and he wants to use it. What can he do?
It's okay.
What can he do? He can use it, but what's better to do if he has it?
Red.
He mixes it,
With
puts a little bit of red in the white, so he changes it to a pinkish tinge, and now l'chol hadeot, you're good. What? Food coloring. Very good. So okay, so why is there no problem with coloring the wine? I'm putting red into white. Seveya. I'm dyeing. I'm dyeing the color. So we have halacha ein sovei b'oichel. There's no coloring with food.
And so well.
There's no dyeing when it comes to food items. Okay? So I'm allowed to put the red into the white. Now, there are some poskim, not by the Sfaradim mostly, by Ashkenazim, some poskim who say that that's true if it happens derech agav. I'm eating and putting this and that, and it happens. But if I have kavana to put red into white and change the color, then you can't do it. Cannot, according to those poskim. We don't poskim like that. And as for food coloring, so then some poskim say that's only if it's a natural food with a natural food. So red wine into white wine, that's natural food. So they say it's okay. But using food coloring, which is not natural, some poskim say you cannot do that. However, the halacha is brought down for us Sephardim is as follows: that as long as it's edible, meaning as long as the coloring is edible, you can eat it, then it's considered there's no coloring for the food. Meaning you could use food coloring. You could use food coloring because that's not considered sevei either. The only issue is if I put something inedible. something that you can't eat, and I put it into the food to color it, that I cannot do on Shabbat and Yom Tov. That's going to be considered tzaveh. It's going to be considered dyeing the food.
So if you have powder, you're not allowed to put powder in it?
Powder as in what?
On the wine? Make
To
it
do
red?
what?
To make it red?
Powder is usually not a problem. It's depending on what's going on there, but usually it's not a problem. But L'maisa, the easiest way to do is people have a red wine and a white wine. You put a little bit of red in the white, and Shalom Yisrael, everyone is okay. Okay, another idea when it's coming to the Rabba Kosod is people want to follow what the Rambam says. What type of wine should be used for Shabbat, for Kiddush, for Yom Tov, for Rabba Kosod? It has to be a wine that could have been brought on the Mizbeach. That means that wine cannot have any sweeteners, no additives. It has to be alcoholic and cannot be cooked.
Say that. Go back.
A wine that is right to be on the Mizbeach has to be a natural wine.
Okay.
No sweeteners.
Right.
You can't add any sweeteners. No other additives. It cannot be cooked. Okay? And it has to be alcoholic. Right. So yain mevushal. So a lot of people, when it comes to Pesach, they try to get a non-mevushal wine. L'halacha, you don't have to go out of your way to get a non-mevushal wine. You can use mevushal wine just fine. And sometimes getting a non-mevushal wine gets you into more trouble than good.
Because of Nesach?
Right. Sometimes we have, especially Pesach, a lot of family come over. And sometimes, unfortunately, you have somebody in the family or friend who comes over who's Mechal Shabbos B'far Hesya, and he might have the status of a Mumar who avodah zarah, and him touching the wine, according to some even looking at the wine, is problematic. My Rosh Hashiva once said, he remembered his father, Reisman, he says his father once made Kiddush on Pesach night in a matzah box. Okay? Because he had somehow a guest that wasn't planned to come came, and this guest was Mechal Shabbos, and they only had non-mevushal wine, so he hid his Kiddush in the matzah box as he was making Kiddush. So it gets into sometimes you don't, being more machmer gets into more trouble. So a mevushal wine is just fine and preferable too.
You still have to drink the Abba Pesach, so what do you do about it?
Right, so you drink it and you give him his, and he drinks his, and it's his.
What does it make a difference with the kiddos or?
He didn't want him to see his wine. Some.
Doing the Abba Pesach, he's gonna see the wine.
I say he hid him all of them. I don't know. I guess he hid him from all of them. But L'maisa, we say if he would touch it. Now, even if he did touch it, if he's a guy who's traditional, he goes sometimes to shul on Shabbat, and he has kavod for Shabbat, maybe he's really not mu'min l'avodah zarah. There's ways in Shas Chak. There are ways to matter if this guy's there. But why get into that situation in the first place?
No, it could be Baal Tshuva before the Shabbat.
Yeah. There's ways to look at it. Yalkut Yosef goes through these things. In the end of the day, it's probably best especially if you're going to have guests that you don't know exactly their status and stuff like that. Get mevushal wine. You don't have to go for a non-mevushal wine. We talked about low alcohol wine, and again, that's probably the better idea is to get a low alcohol wine. This way, you can do the Rabba Kosod.
What's the percentage?
Oh, the percentage of what? Of the alcohol or the wine? And
The alcohol and the wine.
Okay, so any percentage is fine. Any percentage.
You have 5% is enough.
Any percentage of alcohol is fine.
5% is okay, enough.
Of what? The wine or the alcohol?
The alcohol and the wine.
The alcohol level could be any percent.
1% is fine.
What needs to be...
1% is
So it's
fine.
nothing.
Right. Yeah, it's nothing. It doesn't have to be anything. What needs to be... It needs to be actually 51% of wine.
Well,
That means you cannot dilute it with water.
You put 49%.
49%. The only problem is most of your bottles that come to your table are already at 49%. Therefore, when you add a little bit more water, it's no longer Bari Priya Geffen, it's Shahakol Nya Bidvaro.
yeah.
Okay?
$15, $20, $30 bottles, even those?
Even those. Remember, in the times of the Gemara, they always mozik lekos. What does this mean? It was so undiluted, they had to dilute it. Today, you're buying a bottle, it's not undiluted. It's already diluted. So you can drink it right away.
How do you know how many percentage?
The Rabbanim tell us, the Chacham tell us, is that the majority of them are either just there at 51% or even less. Even though for Ashkenazim it still be bar priyagap, for Sfaradim it's not. Therefore, they tell you for Sfaradim you have to make sure that your wine is actually 51%. That's why some people want to get the Badatz Bet Yosef ones that it says for Sfaradim, and we know it's 51%, especially for Pesach. As for grape juice, I was informed by Rabbi Shai Tahan, Shlita, that Kedem grape juice is at 51%. Meaning, do not add any water to it.
When you put the 3 drops.
The 3 drops, it's 3 drops. Make sure it's 3 drops. Sometimes you give the kids to do it, and it's not 3 drops. It's 3 puddle drops, going in. Yeah, 3 little drops, fine. But even the Kedem grape juice, which is 51%, we can rely on that. Don't add water to it more than a few drops that you do for Kiddush, because otherwise you're going to run into problems. So that's on the wine grape juice levels. Okay, I will tell you. Here is our last offer for tonight before we start the Arvit.
What about if you have more than Arvit?
Okay.
And you put more than 3 drops? So if you do
No, it's still the wine. The wine has to be 51%. You're saying I'm adding water, but still, then the wine is not going to be 51% anymore. The wine is 51%. Right? Yeah. Okay. Double time. In this week's Parsha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu that we're going to take the Jews out. Right? The Hotzeti, V'hitzalti, V'galti, V'lakachti, V'heveti etchem el haaretz, Shenasati et yadi. Says, I'm going to take you to Eretz Yisrael. Then Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Paro, and he tells Paro, what do we want to do? Derech Shalosh Yamim. We want to go for 3 days. Which one is it? You want to go forever or just for 3 days? So Yosef says a very good point. So the extra point is, first you have to start off with what you can handle. Remember, right now, they're avadim. The paro b'mitzrayim. To tell them we're going to go away forever, it's a dream that they can't believe. But if you tell them we're going to give you a 3-day break, you can relax for 3 days, this is more easier to digest and to believe. Right? It's more likely to happen. More believable. So you have to give them slowly what they can handle. Right? This reminds me somewhat of the story with the Stipler Gaon. When the Stipler was in the Russian army, they had him on guard duty on a Friday night, and someone left the coat that the guard was supposed to use. He left it on the tree. Now you're not allowed to use the tzodim of the tree on Shabbat. You're not allowed to take the coat off. And the Stipler Gaon had to watch the next 6 hours. But what did he do? He kept telling himself, if I don't put on the coat for the next 5 minutes, it's not pekuach nefesh. I'll survive. He finished that 5 minutes, and he said to himself, another 5 minutes, I'll also survive. And he went the whole night, all the 6-8 hours, thinking the next 5 minutes, and he never touched that coat, and somehow he survived that brutal winter. There's other stories of this type of go, but it's the same idea. I can handle it in slow increments. It says Rav Belsky in his Sefer Einei Yisrael, he says another idea. He says, the Shloshet Yamim, those 3 days, that itself is a very important thing. Meaning, it's not something small and it's going to get bigger. But rather, even that smallness is a very important part of going free. It says Rav Belsky, that truth is every single week on Shabbat. 1 day. What's going to be the difference? I work 6 days. I work 7 days. What's the difference? That 1 day is all the difference. Think about it, says Rav Belsky. Just like in Mitzrayim, how did they leave from Mitzrayim? They asked for all the silver and stuff like that. They all came out dressed nicely. They all came out with everyone's silver. What do we do on Shabbat? We all get dressed up. The ladies put on all their jewelry. All the fine stuff come on the table. It's just like leaving Mitzrayim. Every week, you're leaving the Galut Mitzrayim of this world. And you're going to Geulah. That's what you're doing every Friday Shabbat. Says Rav Belsky even further. He says, you should know, you have to prepare for Shabbat. In what sense? Just like they went around asking for everything for the Geulah when they were leaving, you have to prepare. It says in the Torah, we say every time, V'shameru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat. What does V'shameru mean? Va'aviv shamar et hadavar. What does it mean, Yaakov v'shamar et hadavar? He was waiting for it. He was anticipating it. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat. We're anticipating Shabbat the entire week. Lichvod Shabbat Kodesh Bet Shammai would go and buy every day something. Says Rav Belsky, when you put away the Shabbat stuff on Motzei Shabbat, when you started putting them away, you should give it a kiss and you should say Lichvod Shabbat Kodesh. On Motzei Shabbat, when you're putting things away, he says, give the items a kiss and say Lichvod Shabbat Kodesh and put it away. This way you already start beginning to prepare. He says, Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to convey to Bnei Israel that focusing only on the Yom Tov that awaited them in the wilderness, just focus on that. Don't worry about the Geulah Shlema. Focus on the small Geulah you have right now. Prepare for that, because that itself is a Hagla Hashem. That itself is a Hagla Hashem. And that will give you the opportunity for more Avodah and more Avodah. And a person has to do a lot to prepare. I want to just read from you this beautiful sefer of Yeshua Alt. He says that we know that Shabbat, you have to do hachanot. You have to do preparations. And he says the word hachana comes from the word kano, which is a base. The base. You want to have a good Shabbat? It all starts with the base. You want to have a good foundation, a good house? You have to have a good foundation. The preparations for Shabbat makes the Shabbat.
What's the kano?
It's the preparation, the hachana.
The word kano.
He said it means base.
Kano means base?
Yeah, the word kano meaning a base. And as he says, today's preparation determines tomorrow's achievement. I want to say a little further. When we say in the Lechadodi, Penei Shabbat Nikabela. What do you have kavanah when you say this?
Kabbalah Shabbat.
So he brings here from a few different sources. He says Penei Shabbat Nikabela, meaning I'm accepting my Shabbat face on Shabbat. Yeah. Your face on Shabbat should not look like your face during the week. Your face during the week is worried, is stressed, is working. When it comes to Shabbat, happy face! I tell you what time. I used to go, when I was younger, I was in Camp Oshraga. When I was in Camp Oshraga as a young bacher, 17, 18, we had there at that time a tzaddik. His name was Rav Nissan Quinn. He was a manal in the Masifta in Tervadat. He was there in the camp. This guy was already 90-something years old. And during the week, he was still, he was walking around. He had like a little help, this and that, a little hunchback. He looked a little tired. Friday night, this 93, 94-year-old man, his face is radiant, shining. He's standing in the dining room, leading the zmirot of the young bachrim, singing as loud as them, if not louder. And every week I was in the spot. I was like, wow, where does this guy get this kochas from? All of a sudden, the whole week he's like, Shabbat, Pednei Shabbat Nikabala. That's what you have to do when you do when you do the Chadodi. That's the problem, because you're not accepting Pnei Shabbat. They come to shul, they're ready to sleep. 4 o'clock, you sleep any other day in the middle of the day? No. Shabbat. Yeah. Erev Shabbat. Why? So menucha. I'm tired of everything else. The Yetzer Hara doesn't want us to have Pnei Shabbat. So instead of having Facebook Shmeikvos, you have to have which face? Face Shabbat. That's the one you have to have. Face Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat. Nikah B'La'am. Okay?
When you fall asleep, you can't. This guy disturbed me.
Okay, what's that? We have Minyan? Are we there? Yeah?
It's 8 a.m.